Guys, your traditional boxer briefs are about to get the upgrade they need. Sheath has 2 individual compartments to keep everything down there separate, cool, and comfortable. Sheath has a modern ergonomic design intended to prevent skin-on-skin contact for long durations, which can build up heat and sweat. Sheath prevents all of that. It is the holy grail of underwear. Say goodbye to constant chafing and readjusting because everything is in a separate compartment. These underwear are designed to keep your boys cool and comfortable. Sheath has released some great new winter gear to keep you and the boys nice and cozy all winter long, like their dual pouch base layers and fitted bamboo hoodie. Sheath also has super fast shipping and your order will arrive in just a few days. Take a look at all the reviews on their website for official proof. So click the link below and use the code Chael at checkout. Or go to sheathunderwear.com/Chael. That's going to get you 20% off and the comfort you deserve. That's sheathunderwear.com/Chael. Or just click on the link below and use the code Chael for 20% off. Aljo and Dillashaw, right around the corner. Where do you guys stand? This has been a very interesting line. Right now, as I speak to you right now, Aljo is the favorite on DraftKings. Now, 1 week ago today, Aljo was still the favorite. But 3 weeks ago, he wasn't. It was TJ. So I'm just sharing with you that you guys and your perception and your opinion, it's very tight. It's very close. I see it the same way. So what's the story of this fight? Why are these two fighting? In one regard, I still need to know how good Aljo Sterling is. Because I didn't see it. I saw a really good athlete. I know him personally now. So now I've seen a really good athlete that I know to have a really good attitude. Got incredible coaches, got an incredible gym. Gets pretty damn stubborn and locked into things, which when you're in a selfish one-man sport that isn't team-based is a positive. I see all of those things. But when Aljo took Sandhagen down and finished him, in just over 40 seconds, I came away thinking Sandhagen isn't very good on the ground. I didn't give any credit to Aljo. Now, when Aljo got into his fight with Jon the second time, and Aljo began throwing rounds away as a strategy, if you are good enough to throw rounds away, you only got 5 of them. He tossed 2 of them back. He left himself no room for error. Oh, and by the way, he ended up in that same position that he did with Sandhagen. The same position that my eyes told my mind Sandhagen isn't prepared for. When Sterling got to that same spot against Peter Yan, that's when I realized I've had this one wrong. This wasn't a matter of Sandhagen having a deficit in a position. This is a matter of Aljo being the single greatest offensive person in that specific position that I've ever seen. So it turned out Aljo's a lot better than I knew. Turned out he's a lot more skilled than I had given him credit for. And I'm still wondering just how good is he? I mean, just how good is he? And I feel as though the buck stops at TJ Dillashaw. If you can outstrike TJ Dillashaw, you're all right with me. If you can out-wrestle TJ Dillashaw, you're all right in my book. If you can stop TJ Dillashaw, who has some of the best takedowns in all of MMA, truly, from an upright position, the way TJ can mix things up. I mean, he'll throw a hand one way, step the opposite direction, and trip you with the behind foot. If you can just stop those things, you're okay with me. So I'm going to find out everything I need to know. Now, what is this fight about? In one regard, I do feel for myself that it's about finding out just how good Aljo is. On the other hand, it is about trying to determine how good is TJ Dillashaw still. 2-year suspension, only had 1 fight since then, got a whole bunch of minutes, got a whole bunch of rounds, tasted adversity, came through it, hurt his shoulder, sat out again. That's hard on anybody. That's a lot to ask of anybody. And historically, if you have the information I just gave you, you already know who's going to win this fight. There has been one historical exception, Dominic Cruz. Now, it's tough for me to witness the abuse that TJ Dillashaw gets for PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. It's tough for me. Now, you're hearing a drug cheat speaking about another drug cheat, but one thing, I've always leveled with you guys. And TJ did too. And I got a full pass. You guys either have forgotten that I ever did that, or those of you that remember don't care at all. I got a full pass from you, the community. Keeps coming up on TJ. And it came up earlier today. There was side-by-side photos. Hey, we know TJ was in violation here. We know it. Here's the picture. Here's the date. Here's a photo of TJ today. They are identical. How could that be unless he is still in violation? That is the logic and the mathematics put into that equation. That probably makes sense, right? I mean, it's a foreign language when you start talking about PEDs. When you start talking about IGF-1 and hemoglobin and hematocrit, when you start doing this, free testosterone, estrogen levels, when you start doing that, natural T levels, you throw everybody off. Which is generally the goal of the guy in the room that wants to be the smartest guy in the room. He doesn't have to know a whole lot. He just has to make you realize how little you know on the topic to elevate himself. And I share that because I largely stay away from this because it just confuses people. All drugs are not created the same. However, under the rules, the punishment for them is. There was a young lady in 2008, she was 14 years old. Chinese gal that won the all-around Olympic gold medal. Now, the all-around Olympic champion, and they do one for both genders. The men will have one, the women will have one, but the all-around Olympic champion is who is viewed by the other sports as the greatest athlete at the games. The greatest athlete amongst us all is whoever the all-around champion is in each of those sports. I realize that the media and the help of Nike will tell you that's the decathlete. That's not true. That's never been true. Fellow athletes have never looked at the decathlete as the great athlete. That's just what the media tells you. They'll look to the gymnast. They took her gold medal away. They took her gold medal away because she had 1/billionth of a trace of ibuprofen in her system. Ibuprofen goes under the street name of Advil. And the trainer who handed it to her was caught on film doing it. NBC had the film. He opened a fanny pack right in front of everybody for the whole world to see. He took out his fanny pack, ibuprofen, Advil, and he gave her one, and she took it right there. And we see that there was no intent, and we see that a reasonable person is going to have no idea it's banned. But that same suspension and the same punishment, that man was given a lifetime ban. He can never return. He had to find a new profession. He can never set foot in Olympic Village again. That young lady who at 14 by the next games of 18, it was a lifetime ban for her too. It was a death sentence for something that nobody knew was even on the list. Nobody would have thought was on the list. Further research is required. And I bring that to you because that'll sit or punishments side by side with anabolics, including illegal anabolics. Now, TJ Dillashaw came on this program. Maybe it's one of the reasons I'm such a defender of TJ. But I sat with TJ face to face in a hotel room in private in Australia with a cameraman. I had never asked TJ, not off camera. I have a relationship with TJ goes back 20 years. I never asked him off camera. Never asked him through a text message. I asked him right there and put it out for you all to see. And he said, yes, I took EPO. He even laid out his justification. He said he knew that it would help him. He admitted that he felt better and competed better on it. He had a medical condition of which where EPO would be appropriate. Now, he said openly, I know I'm breaking the rule, but this is how I justified it to myself. It was just a very honest answer. Said he wouldn't take it again. Gets tested inside and out for this. Hasn't taken it again. But when you look at his body, when you look at yesterday's photos where we know he had something in his system versus today's photos, and they look identical, you say, well, he must still have it. EPO does not make you bigger, stronger, or faster. It does not help you put on mass. It doesn't take off fat. Your appearance on EPO would be the exact same. I bring that to you because if you're wondering how logically we can look at a picture of TJ where we know he had something in his system versus today where we're to believe he doesn't, the reason they would look the exact same is he was not taking something for aesthetic. Now, if we were to talk about the testosterone, we could spot that. We wouldn't even need the test. If you want to punish him, you're going to have the test. But for us to incriminate him, we don't need it. A growth hormone would go into that same category. It won't put on size, regardless of how many articles you can find online. It will not put on muscle, but it will take fat off. You will look different. Your abs will look different, thus giving you a confidence, thus giving you a boost. I was before a commission one day, taking testosterone. Now, the rules on testosterone have changed. At the time I was in front of the commission, testosterone was 100% legal. Not even a maybe. Sat on page 3. You've got a list of things you can't take. You got the things you can't take. Testosterone was legal. I tested positive for a legal substance. So I'm now before the commission where I'm fully expecting them to give me an apology and we get up and we all walk out. And I really did think that. I tested positive for something that's legal. They didn't know that. They were not aware of their own rules. So my attorney brings this forward. In the state of California, that was the jurisdiction at the time, there was a way that you must disclose. And in certain jurisdictions, including Nevada at that time where I was also licensed, you must be given approval, but not in California. In California, it had to be disclosed. Well, I had disclosed it. Signed and dated by the executive director of the commission. So once I'm going to show them page 3, show that I've tested positive for a legal substance, and show them that I've identified this prior to the contest, I'm going to get out. I'm going to walk out. They couldn't believe that their rules allowed that. And they said to me, but Chael, this is a performance enhancer. Don't you know this is a performance enhancer? This was supposed to be the big gotcha moment. Now, all they do is make the rules, and all I have to do is follow the rules. But they asked me the question anyways, under oath, and I answered it very directly. I've never held a cigarette. I'm out here in marijuana. We got marijuana all over the place. Out here in Oregon, we got this supposedly really good marijuana. They've even changed the laws. I don't know anything about it. I've never tasted alcohol. I'm a real square. But they asked me if testosterone was a performance enhancer, and if that's why I took it. And under oath, I told that commission the truth, which is, in my life, I have never. And I cannot imagine a scenario in the future that this would change. I have never taken anything unless I believed it would enhance me. I only take things to make me better. I don't ever say I'm feeling great. Hey, doc, can you bring me down a notch? And if I ran into a doctor who gave that to me, it'd be called malpractice. Of course, I took it to enhance. But I will share with you, when you do look at the photos of TJ, EPO, much like the young lady that took ibuprofen, street name of Advil. It was not to make you bigger, faster. It wasn't to do any of those things. It served a different effect within your system. That's why the pictures look alike. It's also why, if you are on Team Dillashaw, if you do understand that he had an infraction and he served his due, you can rest very easy that your athlete is clean, and I hope that explanation helps to show you why.